We know she's on, the defense with a lot of her moves lately. We know also he said she's not qualified to be running, and he thinks she is the threat to democracy. Matt, that is a thread that the Democrats and Kamala are trying to use against Trump. But clearly today, this visit, another win for him, and we'll get into McDonald's after this.
Yeah, this North Carolina lack of a response from the Biden-Harris administration is a massive problem for them. First of all, it's morally decrepit not to take care of people as you promise you'll do in these moments with all the money we spend in FEMA. And the other moral conundrum they have is they spent the money on illegals coming to this country instead of being prepared for the hurricane season. And Donald Trump is doing what he's doing all over the country, showing up. He's talking to people. Bianca, what I thought one of the best parts of the press conference is they clearly ushered in the local media in the front. Presidential candidates have a pool of national reporters that travel with them, but the local reporters asked so much better questions than the left wing in the bag for Kamala Harris national guys. And I thought that was a great part of the press conference because you got to see what Donald Trump would have done in a situation like this, and he was able to kind of highlight the work of these heroes on the ground.
They are heroes. He spoke about Adam Smith, a Green Beret who worked instrumentally. But even with having the local press, you could still kind of hear the tone of the questions. Oh, before Elon, they were already going to get Starlink. You just had a person bring up a FEMA worker who was insulted, reportedly under a threat. Rick, they'll never stop. Wall Street Journal has a piece today talking about Trump being a fascist. I mean, all of this kind of, it just conflicts with what people see with their own eyes and what they feel with their own hearts. Maybe that's why it's not working. I'll let you kind of go into some of the things we just saw, but I was very moved at many moments here because this was real and authentic. And a lot of what I saw yesterday in Bucks County and the people's reaction to Donald Trump serving up some French fries, you can't replicate any of this if you don't mean it and if you don't really walk the walk.
Yeah, look, Democrats are really worried. They're worried about Kamala's standing. They're worried about how strong President Trump is closing here in these last couple of weeks of the campaign. And look, this is what he does well. Matt and I both know this. We've traveled with him. We worked with him. I mean, this is where he shines. And when he was in North Carolina, he wasn't focused just on the voting. I mean, he was focused on helping people. He was focused on making sure that their houses, were repaired, that they were surviving. That is more important, as you heard him say, than voting. And so I think when he gets out there and he's with the people and among the people, that's what people want to see. And look, the Democrats, I think, have made a major blunder in these last couple of weeks. And their closing argument is to attack Donald Trump as unstable, unhinged, undemocratic. That's not going to work. That's not a closing argument in a campaign that's effective, that's going to bring voters back to the table. What is going to bring voters around, if there are any decides out there, is being in and around them, is trying to show that you're helping them, trying to show that you care about them.
Well, she has, she thought she had the momentum. She thought she had the joy. The Atlantic puts it this way. Why the heck isn't she running away with this? Heard there was some turmoil. She was really upset, apparently, with some of her staff after one of the events she had. I want to focus just a minute, too, because there were prayers said, and I think the power of prayer is something that means so much to many Americans, including myself. The word she said about, you're at the wrong rally when someone shouted out something about Jesus, not going to the Al Smith dinner. We know in Georgia, battleground state, Donald Trump will be there with Jensen Franklin, Ben Carson. The religion, the spiritual aspect of this, I don't think can be underscored. Now, she can go to churches and she can say these things, Matt, but that is something that a lot of people in Middle America, Southeast America that are hurting, they know that their faith is something that gets them through. And I think Kamala Harris, it's a huge Achilles heel for her. What do you think?
Well, if she's speaking to people of faith, I'm not hearing it. I know she has all these little groupies and groups supporting her, including evangelicals and such, but I don't really hear any rhetoric from her. I think she's disdainful towards people of faith. I think she's disdainful towards Catholics. I'm a Catholic. I was offended that she didn't show up at the dinner. She's the last person not to go there since Walter Mondale. She sent a stupid video, and all the reports out of her campaign, and I don't know if this is true or not, but it's certainly being reported that it was an actual decision to not go to the Al Smith dinner because they thought it would be offensive to the LGBTQ community, because obviously the cardinal in New York, Cardinal Dolan, is a believing, devout, follow the church policies church leader. And so, I thought that was a really disgusting sliming of Catholic voters, and they shouldn't forget it.